They assume that, I'm like, I know all this stuff. And I wish I did. I just have a lot, with my kids and, but I want to know. So I thought it was Giudice. Is it Giudice?
There's two ways to say it. You can, she's even said, like, you can go about, I say Teresa Giudice, but some say Giudice. Like I think technically the original way is Giudice, but I think that she introduced herself as Giudice, and that's what like at least half the people say.
So she's dating a shady dude. Like, that's not shocking. She was like super shady. She and her husband, weren't they? She was in jail for fraud, right? Or something.
She was in jail for signing certain things, and he was in jail, her husband, and he is deported now. And she has this new guy, and she is like in love, and people think that there's something there. I mean, I live in New York City, so I know kind of people just think if you scratch the surface with him that she's not really in on it, but that he's kind of just.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a high likelihood of that. Like attracts like, if like attracts like, if energy attracts energy, like I don't think like Teresa seems like, the brightest bulb, and she's probably like kind of looking for I don't know. I mean, everybody's looking for love, and I'm not saying she's a bad person. I'm just saying like based on her history, she's definitely, I feel empathetic toward her, and I'm not trying to talk shit on her by any means, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if you told me that she ends up with a con man or something, unfortunately. And I hate to say that, but like, look, I can say this because I have had plenty of experiences in this category myself. So I am like totally self-deprecating when it comes to this. Like, people are allowed to point their finger at me all they want, which gives me like a little bit of like, what is it? Like, I can also do it back to others, I guess. Like Vicki, for instance, like she's had her fair share of cons, but she's kind of also a little shady. And then like, I don't know, who do we really like? Who's really sweet or something? Is there anybody on any of these shows who's really sweet?
I'm trying to think of the OC who's on now. I mean, we have Heather, we have Shannon. You would know those two.
And
right. Emily.
I don't know.
Emily's kind of sweet, isn't she?
She seems sweet. Yeah. Oh, and Gina's sweet, and she has a sweet boyfriend, I don't know. And Gina's normal and has like a normal boyfriend.
So you think like with Teresa, because like she attracted someone like her ex-husband, or because she herself was involved in something, like it's kind of like not
maybe shocking.
I
mean, it's hard. Like, does a leopard change its spots? It can, but you got to really work on it. I get it. I totally get it. Like, I was married to a narcissist, and it's hard to like not fall back into that love bombing behavior and like fall for somebody who's, gonna just lavish you with like gifts and love, and then like you're sucked in. That's hard. It's a hard behavior to change.
And
so maybe.
And there's a lot of like talk about like this guy knew who Teresa was and put himself in her way. Like, I think, don't you think like having, to your point, like you were married to a narcissist, don't you think like when someone has those tendencies, they can kind of spot who's a prime target, so to speak?
Yeah, they do. And she does. And Teresa does seem like she has a big heart. And so she's going to open up and be like more like a victim to someone who's like able to take advantage of her. And also, yeah, like the whole thing with knowing who she is, that's a real thing. And I was only in the show for 3 years, and I've been off for 3 years, and I still worry about that. Like, I can tell when guys are dating me and they know who I am, or like they think I can, they can get something from me.
Do they normally wait to like bring that up? Like, like on like the 7th date, well, by the way, I mean, you are dating straight men, so it'd be less likely that they would know you.
I mean, some don't know me, and some I can tell like they know who I am, but they pretend like they don't, and they're like asking questions like they don't know. And some just tell me straight up, they know.
Well, that's what Vicki claimed too when she just broke up with Steve, that he was a fame whore and that he knew who she was and was using her for fame. I mean, do you think the same thing with Vicki? Like, she seems to be attracting, like, after Brooks, now
she attracts narcissists for sure. Yeah.
Now apparently she has a new man that she says she's dating, and I mean, apparently she's keeping it hush hush. Like, I mean, do you think What do you think Vicki needs in a man? I mean, she did say,
I don't know. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, for all of her, she predicted you and Jim wouldn't work for 5 years. But then when that was all over the media, she did come out and say things like, I wouldn't have wished this upon Meghan. And I mean, that's at least what she said. I'm not. So she seems like.
Well, she was threatened by me, obviously. Like, she wouldn't, nobody says mean things to somebody else unless they feel threatened. Like, that's a fact. And so, like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, she was right. Yeah. But like, then once I'm, fell from my pedestal, then she was above me. Like, she's not going to say more mean things because she didn't feel threatened by me anymore at that point. I'd already fallen from grace. But,
that's a good point.
Okay. Yeah. It's like totally, human nature. It's like a course in sociology. But she, Vicki really hates being alone, and she loves love, and I get it. So do I. And so that will make both of us more susceptible to be victims of narcissists, because narcissists love to love and reel you in. So that's how it goes.
They do. As you watch this back and you say you cringe at your fashion and all these other things which you are now doing on your YouTube, like, as you watch your relationship, like you said, I think you used the word naive, like, as you watch this part, like, first of all, is that hard to watch? I mean, having it.
Yeah, super hard to watch. I'm sitting in the spot where I watch the shows, and I want to like turn on my swivel chair like this and just like ignore it and like come back and be like, is it safe? Is it safe?
Like, am I on the screen alone, or is Jim on with me?
I know. I mean, wait, what do you mean? Like, when I'm watching?
Like when you say you like turn away, you're probably like, okay, I need to turn back when I'm there alone.
I know. I mean, even then, it's just hard to watch myself back. But yeah, actually, you know what? On the parts with Jim in it, I'm kind of interested to see how he treats me, because I was in such denial, and I was so committed to my marriage, to my relationship, till death do us part, for sickness and poor and health, and richer and poorer, that like I was just gonna always look at the glass half full with him. And so now that I don't have to do that because we're not married anymore, I see it with more clarity. So those are interesting scenes for me.
Right. Like, are you like, what have you learned, like anything from watching those scenes? Like, like, oh, these are things I should have spotted, or like things you could take into like a new relationship?
Yeah, I think just like more clarity. But look, I'm not trying to have a baby anymore or like get married like I was. So I don't, there's less at stake for like what I'm trying to achieve in the future. I don't need a partner to achieve like what I want. I can achieve everything by myself going forward. So like a partner at this point would be a true partnership, a best friend, a lover. But back, when Jim and I were together, my partner needs to be all those things plus a father. And I don't need that anymore. So like, I don't need to look for these like are forced qualities that aren't there like I did before. I guess that seems kind of silly, but I was already married to him.
No, that doesn't seem silly at all. Actually, you don't think you'll ever have more kids? Like, you don't want to have any more kids?
God, I mean, I hope not. I could do stepkids, but like, I don't really want more kids. I mean, I guess never say never.
Listen, you have your hands full. So, I mean, I'm not saying you should be having more children.
3 is plenty.
Right. You have 3. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I would think that you're watching and you're like, oh God, I was naive, but these are like, wow, look at that. Like, there's a sign right in front of my face. Like, that was so obvious, which of course, when you're in it, you don't really see.
Yeah, you don't see it as well.
No, you don't.
Yeah, there's a lot more at stake to lose if you're in it and you're like, wait, my husband's an asshole to me. Like, I'm going to lose everything.
Absolutely. Well, you were also part of, the 3 years you were there basically for the last fight